Dream Team, it's your boy Neal back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with what lockdown at home in Australia is like. And before we dive into this video, y'all know I need y'all to dive right into that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to my Patreon and drop it in the comment section. Brienne, what we got?
This is actually acai bowl number 2, so I just did not feel like filming yesterday when I made the other one. Considering we are in a pandemic, I might make some jamu today. You might have heard about jamu on my Instagram already. If you don't follow me, go do that. Or you just might know about it in general, but it's basically a drink. It's like this Indonesian health drink type thing. It's really good for inflammation. It's good for like general health and your respiratory system, which is helpful when there's coronavirus going around. Also just good for colds and flus and that kind of stuff. It's pretty simple to make. I'm using my friend Aaron's recipe, which you may have also seen on my Instagram. Pretty simple. It's like a handful of ginger, a handful of turmeric, a bit of raw honey. A friend of mine's housemate makes his own honey, has like beehives and stuff, so we've got some of that. Bit of lemon or lime, I think. I put a bit of apple cider vinegar in right at the end, but I don't think that's in the actual recipe. Bone apple tea. This is fucking good.
That drink didn't look too good. I don't know, it didn't sound too good. What she's eating does look good. Know what I'm saying? I would definitely take some of that, but that drink doesn't sound too good.
Right at the end, but I don't think that's in the actual recipe. Bone apple tea. This is fucking good. So it's another beautiful day to be stuck indoors, except I might, dare I say it, leave the house. I've been waiting for this to happen, but they just closed a few beaches along the Gold Coast last night. But the rest of them are still open to locals, I think, which luckily I count as now. They're wanting you to like stay within your postcode and obviously still practice social distancing, only go out for exercise, which is fine because the beach is like a 5-minute walk away. I also have this fin cut on my leg because someone decided to just surf on top of me. Holy shit, that's I had some lay on it on the board, so I'm not sure if I really want to go out today, but I might, because honestly it's just such a beautiful day. While we're allowed out to exercise, I kind of want to. Better to stay indoors as much as possible, but for my sanity, I'm gonna go out probably. I think I've made up my mind, I'm going.
I definitely, it definitely was a tough time having to stay inside during COVID. It will make you go crazy, like. Definitely just want to get out. You just got, I don't know. And we don't have any beaches close to where I'm at. But I just want to get it, even if I just take a drive somewhere. Just get out of the house. So Brienne be surfing? I didn't know that, Brienne. I didn't know you were a surfer out here.
Sup? I inhaled so much seawater. Did she catch some waves? Yeah, she did, but did she get absolutely rolled in the process? Yeah, fully. That was a little bit close for comfort, mate. So my online shopping habits have been a little bit interesting. Yeah, so these lockdowns have nurtured and fostered quite an unsustainable online shopping habit. Yeah, I did make like a full TikTok about that as well.
Of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start coming and they don't stop 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 coming.
Honestly, it's not as bad and needless as it used to be at all. A lot of it is just boring shit like work-related stuff. I just like getting things in the mail, like seeing another human face for a change. The experience of the postie coming up to my door, chucking something at the door and then pretty much running away down the driveway is the only surge in dopamine. It's the only thrill I can really get at the moment. I even make sure I've got pants on so I can run around to the door and say hello. Oh, it's embarrassing when you say it out loud, eh? Point being, super glad freight is an essential service. Truly don't know what I would be doing otherwise. It's just unnecessary. My street must have a sign on it saying, please rev your engine and be super loud when you're driving through here, thanks. admin. With all of that being said, a lot of you have been asking if Rift is still able to ship things out during the lockdowns, and the answer is yes. The warehouse is still able to run. They've had to split like shifts up and make sure there's only a certain amount of people in the warehouse at one given time. So everything's still being shipped out. It's all good to go. Some of you might have recognized this shirt if you've got it. The back is significantly cooler than the front. You guys always flock to these t-shirts, but we've just had a big restock. So if you're looking for one, you can go grab it now. Along with our quality tees, they've also been restocked. You can buy all of these on Afterpay and pay for it over time instead of having to pay for it up front. So if that's up your alley, all of that'll be linked below. Also, I have been stirring some shit on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie. I have been gently nudging the Animal Crossing community because I made the mistake of asking what Animal Crossing is on Instagram, and I got a barrage of angry messages. Truly, so many messages. So due to who I am as a person,
I've heard of Animal Crossing. It's like a game, right? I think. I don't know like what exactly it is, like what it, but I think it's a game. I just don't know what the game is exactly about.
Barrage of angry messages. Truly, so many messages. So due to who I am as a person, I decided to just stir the pot a little bit and told people to stop dicking around on Animal Crossing, which made them even angrier. It's not much, but it's honest work. So that's what I've been doing in quarantine. What about you? So if you want to come witness or join in with me just stirring shit on the internet, feel free to follow me on Instagram. No way. What's going on over there? Oh, this girl is shook. What is happening? Can you hear this? Does it sound like I'm just talking to myself? Well, I am, so...
It's Corona time. Hey, it's Corona time.
All the beaches are pretty much like closed to outsiders at the moment. We're at the Lookout looking over Cooley the other day, and I've literally never seen it dead empty before. It's really pretty when it's not like littered with people. It's quite nice, to be honest. I'm having kombucha out of my coffee mug, and you can taste the coffee. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just chilling at home today, to be honest. I made some sick new designs for Rift. I've sent those off to manufacturers, editing a few videos, making some TikToks because that's on my schedule now. I started watching Netflix again. I watched Tiger King, and holy goddamn shit, goddamn, man. How do you get that many chaotic, lawless people to be just affiliated in one circle? You bring them together with tigers, apparently. I also started watching Too Hot to Handle.
Tiger King was such a good show, and that during quarantine, it seemed like Tiger King, everybody was watching it. It took over for a bit. Yeah, Tiger King was so good. Too Hot to Handle also good.
Last night, and that is, I don't know if I'm like embarrassed for society. I'm hoping most of it's scripted. They usually are, but some of it, again, where are they finding these people? On the note of Netflix though, obviously a lot of you would be watching Netflix or just streaming services in general at the moment, which brings me to my favorite sponsor of quite a lot of videos, Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN. If you don't know what a VPN is, it basically encrypts your online connection, basically gives you like a private access and allows you to browse the internet safely. It keeps your sensitive data private and keeps your location private, like right now. Streaming libraries. It's also the closest we're going to get to being in other countries for quite some time. Speaking of, when I was talking about like the state of the world and the economy in my last quarantine vlog, a few of you correctly brought up the fact that you can't just like pull money out of thin air all of the time, otherwise you have economic collapse. And that is correct, but I do want to reiterate the fact that I was just saying that governments are happy all of the time, more or less, to consistently like pull money out of thin air, which we're just going to call printing money for the sake of simplicity, because that's what traditionally would have happened before like the internet. It's the exact same equivalent though. Governments are happy to print money all of the time and hand it out to billionaires and massive corporations and make the working class and middle class pay for it, specifically the middle class mostly. But the point I was making is that governments are happy to print that same money and just hand it out to billionaires and big conglomerates, but they make it seem impossible to do the same for the working class or the middle class, who are the ones creating the goods and services that create that money anyway. Just for the record, I don't think you can or should print money to the extent that we have been in this pandemic on a regular basis. That just wouldn't work. We don't have the goods and services to back that up. And that's not the point I was making in that last video. I wasn't just saying let's print money for shits and giggles and give it to poor people because I'm fucking Robin Hood now. And there was also like 20 minutes of that last chat that I just didn't put in because it would make the video way too long. The same is probably going to happen in this chat too. But in those 20 minutes I did go into like hyperinflation and the consequences of that. I fully understand that. I think these hundreds of billions of dollars that the government is printing at the moment are necessary to an extent, maybe a little bit generous, but to keep everyone afloat and keep money circulating, I think it's a good idea. The tripod decided to stop tripoding, but right now we've literally pulled like hundreds of billions of dollars literally out of nowhere. The Federal Reserve has just said, yep, this exists now. And so it does. So we can all agree that this figure exists and now it's being allocated to certain things, but there's nothing tangible to back it up. Just say we give everyone in the country $10,000 each. There'll be a lot more money floating around, but there'll still be the exact same amount of goods and services. And obviously because everyone
10K each or the, I wish we would have got that. No, that's it. Brienne for president. That would have been nice.
More money floating around, but there'll still be the exact same amount of goods and services. And obviously because everyone has this money to buy shit, the demand for products outstrips the supply of the products. People lose confidence in the value of their currency. And because it's a faith-based system, shit hits the fan and you've got hyperinflation. If you give everyone 10 grand and everyone goes to buy a MacBook, but there's only the same amount of MacBooks that exist, everyone in the country has 10 grand. That's 24 million people that can buy a MacBook now. But let's just say only 100,000 MacBooks exist in the country. There's certainly not 24 million is the point. Then the only thing that can happen to make demand balance with supply, because we can't pull 24 million MacBooks out of thin air, is the price of the MacBook has to go up. So apply that same principle to grocery stores. You might walk into Coles and see a $20 carrot because there's an oversupply of money, but there's only a certain amount of carrots that can be grown, so the price of the carrot has to go up. That leads to high.
And that's what these eggs are looking like here. I don't know if it's around the world, but groceries in general. But when I just bought eggs, like I think it said like almost $9. It was like $8.75 for an 18 pack of eggs, bro. And I was like, eggs? I was like, this used to be like $5, $6. I feel like, but almost $9 now. It's just very shocking. It's very
supply of money, but there's only a certain amount of carrots that can be grown, so the price of the carrot has to go up. That leads to hyperinflation and everything being more expensive and your currency being worthless more or less, which is not good, and why printing money is not like a blanket solution for anything. Money is basically just like an IOU that we pass around that's subject to change, that you can eventually use to trade for something that is tangible. Like it doesn't actually hold any worth. Like it doesn't have any intrinsic value because it's not an asset. You're never really going to catch a wealthy person hoarding money, but you will catch them hoarding assets. A good example of hyperinflation and printing money sort of getting out of control is Zimbabwe. They had a $100 trillion banknote because their currency was functionally worthless. You could take a wheelbarrow full of cash down to the bakery and only buy one loaf of bread. That's how bad it got. So that's a pretty good example of what happens when you just throw money at a problem that is a lot more complex than that. It happened in Germany, it happened in Venezuela, it happened in America during the Civil War. It's happened a lot of times before and we should probably know better, but we're doing it anyway. In saying that, I don't think our stimulus packages are bad by any means. I think they're supporting people that need support. I think the JobKeeper package in particular is good because it's keeping like people technically employed, so that when this does eventually resolve, you've still got that connection between employer and employee. But I don't think you can just throw money at a problem and expect it to go away. It's going to be like a huge fiscal balancing act for probably the next decade or more. But we're definitely just dipping our toes into like economic crisis at the moment. We're certainly not through the worst of it yet, but anyway, that's enough of that. Well, I guess I'll go eat a whole thing of olive dip again. For what I'm guessing is maybe the 15th time this month. I'm keeping the olive industry alive single-handedly.
I never had olive dip.
I can't move on, baby.
Good morning. Today is a very exciting day because I'm waiting for something in the mail again, which is not shocking. It's a little film camera. It's called the Olympus Miju 2, I think it's pronounced. I do have another film camera, it's the Pentax K1000, which in my opinion takes better quality photos, but it's not really like a point and shoot. You really have to like get the lighting right and set everything properly, and my light meter in it is broken, so I have to get the light meter app out on my phone and like set everything and then take the photo. It's good for like planned shots, I feel, but I want something that I can just sort of whip out whenever and take like a pretty decent film photo. So I'm waiting for that to show up today. That's pretty much it. Alright, so she's here. We've got quite a bit of bubble wrap. Oh my god, is this an unboxing video? What? Well, it's going terribly. Let's just... Hey, there she is. Alright, so here's this bad boy. I'm also realizing probably doesn't have batteries. And it doesn't have batteries, but what does it take? Look, I don't know, we'll find batteries somewhere, but I did buy film. Alright, I'm gonna go take this for a test run maybe tomorrow, hopefully, and tell you how that goes in the next vlog. I think that's about it, hey. If you're new here, I give shout outs at the end of every video to people who subscribe and put the bell on. So the YouTube shout out goes to Amber Bailey, and I also give shout outs to people on Instagram and TikTok. Insta shout out goes to Shawnee Tozer, and TikTok shout out goes to Chloe Thomas.
Definitely always enjoy the videos. That's all we got for this one. Yeah, quarantine life, being on lockdown was not a fun life. And I feel like I got a whole lesson about the economy and money in this that I'm probably gonna forget in the next 10 minutes. But that's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. Social media, Patreon, all up top. You know, subscribe to any of it. Put all the links in the description. All you gotta do is hit the link, follow me, talk to me. Love talking to you guys. You guys are the most incredible team on YouTube. It's your boy D Neal. Out.